Hello and welcome to a special presentation from In the Money Media. I'm your host, Peter Thomas Fornatal, here for the Echo Town 8. It's funny, it's the Echo Town 8, but you only see 4 other faces on your screen. As you might have guessed, there's a little bit of a story behind that. We had, basically, I'll just fess up. We were supposed to have this be a 1 entry per person thing, but I never put that in the rules. So there you go. We have 2 people who we'll get to introduce in a minute. Both Alex and Lou have 2 entries here at this final table. We're joined by Derek and Bill. Everybody, I thought my emails were clear about how you had to be here to participate. We have some no-shows as of yet, but what we'll do is we'll give people till the first race to at least pop their head in. At that point, if they're not here, they'd be DQ'd, and we'll just play on with the remaining 6 entries that we have going. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Anyway, this is a format we've done before in terms of the World Horse Player Tour. If folks remember that TV pilot we did a few years ago, this is an online version. We're going to talk all about our partner site, Contest Jockey, who's running this one for us. But first, real fast, I want to introduce everybody, and we're going to just do the basics. There were questions when I used to do the column for the place with the letters, affectionately how we refer to daily racing form around here. There were certain questions that were in every single interview I did. How old are you? What do you do for a living? Where you live? Let's run through our 4 participants with that, starting with Alex Cosby. Alex, give me your basic back of the baseball card stats here, please.
Yeah, I'm 55 years old and deliver food and bet horses. That's about it.
I love your background. JK would approve of the numbers. You know, it looks. I'm getting vibes of his shirt back there. Good stuff. Lou, you and I have met in real life several times, but tell the people a little bit about yourself.
I'm a CPA from Colorado. That's why I'm at the office. It's tax time.
We appreciate the background there. Love to get those sponsor logos in there. Apologies to Michael, who's going to be my co-host for a lot of the show, that we didn't correctly on the thumbnail for the show get the Contest Jockey logo. Something else to work on. It's all a work in progress. Next up, I want to bring in to answer our basic questions, Bill Miller. Bill, how are things?
Hey, Pete, pretty good. Bill Miller, 57 years old, from Connecticut. IT consultant, been playing the horses for a little under 5 years, primarily Pick 5 player.
Love it. And loved having the IT consultant on there. That's good. No StreamYard hiccups from you. That's very good stuff. And last but not least, well, maybe not last if somebody else ends up popping in here, but Derek, give me your basic stats.
Sure. Derek, I'm 42 in New Jersey, and I'm a assistant treasurer for a big company.
Now,
and
as much as I
like my background better with Taylor Swift, but
I was going to say my daughter, I will have to bring Karen in at some point to see what appears to be a life-size cutout of Taylor Swift. Clearly, you are a true Swiftie.
Yeah, no, the wife is, but that's fine.
All right, we're going to let our contestants go to the green room and focus on the play they're going to make in the first race. We're going to bring in our co-host, Michael, and we're going to go over the rules. First of all, let me say hi. Michael, I've known you so little for such a short period of time. Do you prefer Mike to Michael? I don't even know this.
Mike, Michael, it's all good to me.
I'm the same with Peter PTF.
Yeah.
We're going to have plenty of time to talk all about Contest Jockey, this really cool product that you've created. It's not commercially available yet, but the early returns from the beta testers are beyond positive. For folks who are interested in getting more information about Contest Jockey, what's the best way for them to do that?
If you create a free account on Contest Jockey, you'll get added to the list. You'll get email updates and notifications as new contests become available.
Let's roll the rules here. We got AJ producing today. Here we go. All players start with the same mythical bankroll, 1,800. You have to play at least the minimum for each race, but can choose any amount to play over the minimum. The minimums work kind of like blinds in poker. They increase throughout the contest. You can go all in at any time. We start off with $200 bets, then 400, then 600. And you'll notice, if you don't have to be a math major to notice that you can't make all the minimums with your starting bankroll of 1,800. We're definitely trying to force some action here. And that's this idea of being able to go in at all time. And players, you make one bet to win per race, and that's it. The idea is to make a simple format that's easy for people to play, but doesn't get rid of the complexities of wagering strategy and or handicapping. I mean, at the end of the day, you still got to pick winners if you want to win. Michael, you're more familiar with this format than anybody. Give us like an overview, in your opinion, of how it's worked out so far in all the beta contests you've been doing.
It's been really interesting. We've had players live all the way into the last race, going down, coming down to basically, even just one horse, like, who bets more on their last race. And it's been really interesting. A lot of all-ins, I think that's kind of typical in this format. But yeah, it's pretty exciting.
And we will quickly show the prize board. That's the thing. This works great as winner take all, but we're actually doing this where we have prizes down. Actually, everybody gets something, but we won't have to get into that now. The biggest thing, a share, we should thank our sponsors right off the bat, Adelphi Racing Club, a 3% share in Skytown and Echo Town Colt that I am a proud partner in. Congrats to our friends at Adelphi. Panda Gate running third today in the UAE Derby. Very, very cool. What a great experience for them to go over there. This is a great partnership to be a part of. I've been a partner now for years, and I love it. And I'm very excited. Whoever gets to win and run second, they'll be partners with me in this horse, which I'm very excited about. I mean, along with a lot of other people on the Adelphi team, but still. And then we've got the Saratoga accommodations for third and fourth, and then some fun swag for fifth and sixth. Let's talk about this race super quick, Michael. I won't bring in any of the players because obviously they'd be ceding a tremendous competitive advantage to be talking about their picks before the race. What we will be able to do is to show all of the picks once this closes. But I don't know. Did you take a look at this race? Did you have an opinion? I actually like the horse in here a little bit.
Yeah, I took a decent look at this race. I think that's Messier is sort of one that I just kept going back to. I really, Laughing Boy, Rocco Strong, Olympic Dreams. It's going to be a good competitive race, but I just kept going back to Messier.
Messier for you, the New York Rangers and Edmonton Oilers, great now in equine form. I thought the race pace-wise really shaped out in a way where Olympic Dreams was going to take a lot of beating. Curious to see how he does. We're taking a look now at the cool graphic that AJ made, the Excelsior Stakes. You can see the morning line there. We will show these races live. But I wouldn't go. We don't need to go to that yet. What I think we should do. Oh, has everyone got their picks in, Michael? Can we show the picks real quick before we get to the race?
It does look like it.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
This will get smoother as it goes along. There was no dress rehearsal. This was a plans to be a total fly by the seat of the pants. And it does not look like anyone else has joined the stream. So I think we'll play ahead with the group that we have. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure most people are double screening this experience. So let's take a second to show the picks before we cut to the race, if we can do that. There they are. See, it looks like, we have Bill Miller actually playing my horse. is the only one to have played more than the minimum in this race. That could definitely shake things up. And it looks like lots of love for Messier, a little Curbstone, a little Quality Chic, and some Rocco Strong as well. AJ, let's go to the tape here and send it over to the race call too. Why not? And we'll watch this one, and then we can do a little bit of deconstruction.
Wide four wide Olympic Dreams. Nowhere to go right now, is now easing off of the tempo, and Kuchar gets the right trip. It's Kuchar just saving ground to the inside, is in fourth. Kinetic Sky is following that move from fifth, is now back to sixth. That's Olympic Dreams. Second to last is going to be Quality Chic, and the trailer is Curbstone. They approach a half mile left to go, and they went 46 and 3 for that half mile time here in the Excelsior. They've got 4 furlongs left to travel, and they're chasing Laughing Boy. Laughing Boy with Messier ranging up to the outside of Rocco Strong. Here comes Kuchar, and those yellow blinkers, has had the right trip, is down on the inside behind the big long shot, just waiting for the cue from Manny Franco. It's these three as they approach a quarter mile left to go. Kinetic Sky is trying to run on. Quality Chic is now about to challenge and take fourth, but they gotta catch Laughing Boy and Messier. Kuchar is not cutting into the margin as Messier now kicks for home. It's Messier with a stubborn long shot and Laughing Boy who won't go away. Messier is trying to assert. It's Messier who is now clear up by 2. A final furlong left to go, and Laughing Boy is coming back at Messier. It's Messier here in the 16th pole. Laughing Boy, what a race.
I think Messier's got him held.
Laughing Boy.
Yeah.
Messier will win the Excelsior. What a second place effort there from Laughing Boy.
All right, let's go back to those
Kuchar,
plays for a second. I know we have some folks who cashed here, and then we'll go through and bring back some of our contestants to talk about.
Excelsior.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the one who's promoting that to the page. There you go. So Derek and Lou on one of his entries. Oh, and Neil is not here. So Neil, we can go ahead and take out the people who didn't make it here. I don't know if that's an easy thing for you to do, Mike, but if we can clean this up a little bit by getting rid of the folks who aren't competing, and then meanwhile, I want to talk to Derek about Messier and the decision that he made. Derek, what was it you liked about this horse? Are you pleased with the result, or are you in that typical horse player mode of, oh, maybe I should have bet more?
No, definitely not. Should I bet more? I'm still waiting to see. It looked like he cut over on the one. I mean, I know it's Naira and they don't really take horses down. So
he did, but he was, I mean, he was already passed and that horse ran second. So yeah. It would surprise. I mean, you're right that he came over, and you're right that they might post something, but I'd be shocked if they did anything for that.
Yeah. So I just looked at it and I thought he had the most class.
It is. Objections out.
Yeah. Oh, so it was do we know if it was a stewards or if it's a jockey objection?
I did not hear. I didn't have the audio on read.
No worries. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to jinx you. It is Naira. It is stewarding in America, so it is possible something crazy could happen there. But just generally, strategically speaking, what was your attitude? What caused you to pick that horse and play him for the amount that you did?
Yeah, I mean, first bet, I didn't want to throw more than the minimum on. I wanted to kind of, see where I was. And unfortunately fell on the favorite, which I don't really like betting favorites, but I figured it at least gets me the money to get to the last bet if I only bet the minimum.
Right.
Not saying I'm gonna, and I like Messier. I had him singled in my pick 5, so I just think he's a good horse.
Yeah, I mean the favorite and for a good reason. Definitely a horse that stood out a bit on numbers. Let's pop Lou in as they continue to look at this over at Aqueduct. I'm going to let you, Mike. I'm going to let you be my my eyes and ears as far as when they do something with this inquiry, because I don't, unfortunately, here I'm not in the bunker where I have 5 monitors. I'm at my mom's Easter tomorrow and whatnot, so I don't have a monitor. I realize, which is actually super inconvenient for something like this. But Lou, how about you? What similar logic to what Derek was saying about the amount and the thought process behind Messier?
As far as the amount, I didn't love anybody in here. I would have played more if I had somebody I really liked. And then Messier was more like default. Figured he might have been the most likely winner. So that's why I used him on the 1, and then I took the wrong long shot clearly because figured with the 2 entries, I thought I'm going to take a swing because I just didn't love anybody in here.
Right, right. Well, still nice to get on the board, and then, assuming nothing happens here, and I know, maybe I'm crazy to be so positive that I don't really see anything happening. Let's see. They're showing it now on all views. We can take a quick look. AJ, if you want to show that. But I mean, to me, yeah, he obviously came across, but I mean, he passed the horse and he's clear. So like, it just doesn't seem like something that should be take any action. But anyway, we'll see what they end up doing with that. They are being very optimistic with Laughing Boy, keeping him very close there. We'll see what the stewards in New York decide to do. Mike, how much are they going to jam us up with this as far as the next race that we have in the sequence? How many minutes to post do we have for race number 2?
I'm seeing 17 minutes to post for the next race.
We're golden. We're absolutely golden.
Still in good shape.
So yeah, let's just wait till this gets resolved. And then, Mike, I'm going to ask you some questions about more questions about Contest Jockey. All right, we can send Lou back to the green room. I want to bring in Bill, who made the boldest play here, betting, making a significant bet over the minimum, the only player to do so. Was that simply because this horse, I mean, obviously didn't really fire. It was the horse I picked too, but was this just one of your stronger opinions in the sequence, or was there something more going on, Bill, in terms of game theory here?
I'm not sure I had a strong opinion in any of the races, so this is probably one of my 2 stronger opinions in the contest. So I thought if I did something early, and obviously at that figure, it's thought out on where I could be possibly by race 5. So yeah, that was the thought. Horse for course. Trevor's been on him forever. Obviously, just threw in a clunker. Wasn't what I expected.
Yeah, the pace didn't shake out the way I thought it would for that horse either. I thought would be closer, it got a little far back and looked okay. But when the question was asked, there was nothing under the hood. A little bit of extra pressure on you now going forward with much less of a bankroll. But you certainly with the blind bet, as we call these minimums, next race still only being $200. It's not like it's time to panic or anything, I wouldn't say. All right, let's wait till we get some answers on this one. We can send Bill back to the green room and just wait for the stewards to finish their reckoning of this. I'm surprised it's taking this long, honestly. But hey, again, New York. So we've seen some very puzzling things over the years from these stewards, who of course are not NYRA appointed. This is Gaming Commission stuff. Not knocking our sponsors here, NYRA, who do a lot of work with us. They're as at the mercy of this process as anybody else is. Just the politics and the way that this works. But yeah, let's see what ends up happening. If nothing happens, if somehow Messier gets taken down, this would basically just be a wash for everybody except Bill, who would still take that bigger hit. Nobody having the 54-1 Laughing Boy. Laughing Boy, one of these horses for me, Mike, I can't even have after the race.
I actually liked him here. I think this race kind of played out exactly like he needed it to play out. He had 2 trips at 1 mile and an eighth where he was in the lead and coming down the stretch. He weakened, but he definitely held on here. He
was
gave
very
it another
game
go.
for sure.
Yeah, it was.
What's your situation in your own pocket betting wise? I mean, do you have a piece of Laughing Boy if he does go up here?
I didn't put a play in on Laughing Boy here as we were getting ready for everything. It was
a little distracting.
Tight on timing, but I think I think he ran a great race. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the horse was very, very was strong and did. I mean, I guess so. Devil's advocate, he did continue to make the run after having to. I mean, but the thing is, he didn't ever really stop riding. I don't know. I think it would be pretty bad if they take this horse down, honestly. But it sure seems like somebody has the opinion in the steward's booth that it's worth at least discussing the fact that it has taken as long as this. We'll see what they end up doing. Meanwhile, let's talk a little bit more about Contest Jockey and just what you've seen in your beta testing about this format? What is it that people seem to be enjoying about it?
I think the they've been relatively smaller contests. It's pretty friendly competition. I think the format of you still got to pick one horse. You get to express opinions a little bit in terms of the amount of money that you're putting on each of your picks. But what I've seen thus far is sort of in line with what we're seeing here. Some definitely first race minimum bets played. Everyone trying to get a feel for it. You'll start to see. I mean, as Bill mentioned, didn't have a super strong opinion, but was trying something a little bit more in the first race. And when you have an opinion, you have an opinion. You got to go for it. It's the opportunity to kind of make or break your position in the contest.
Yeah, that ability to separate is definitely worth something. It's also an interesting format because it doesn't necessarily have to go all the way to the end. A contest theoretically could be won. Theoretically, it could be over in the first race. If everybody, I can't imagine that ever happens where everybody goes all in. But what percentage of the time in the beta test? First of all, how many of the beta tests have you done, and what percentage of the time does the last race come into play so far?
I'd say pretty much all of them. It's come down to the last race. There's been, definitely some conservative playing throughout. Tried some different formats. Consistent minimums across each race, increasing minimums, consistent minimums up to the last race, and then having the last race kind of be one where you have to take more of a position. Try to force a hand a little bit there, in terms of making a decision. But it's been fun. I think you still have to pick winners. Is really what it comes down to.
Folks looking for more information, contestjockey.com. Create a free account over there, and then we'll have your email and can reach out and compete when this becomes something that is playable on a larger scale. Any specific plan? I mean, I know the answer to this, but I'm sure people watching want to know, Mike. Any specific plans to make this into a commercial venture? Any kind of time frame, anything like that?
No time frame at the moment. It's going to play out. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's been a great start so far. Very new.
Is that Gomez and Dutrow watching the replay on the phone? I wonder what's going on there. It's quite an odd scene here. And of course, normally they say the longer it takes, the more likely it is that something's going to happen. I just don't see it. I can see everybody in the green room. If anybody thinks this horse should come down in the green room, raise your hand, because I want somebody to make the case more articulate than me. Let's bring Alex in from the green room. I want to hear the case. So you think that cost this horse the race?
Possibly, yeah. I think the jockey definitely pulled him back and started again. And he had plenty of run. He came right back up on him. There's no. And the other horse definitely moved in. So,
usually in New York, if there's no contact, they won't do that. I'd love to see it again now and see how much he had to stop riding and restart riding. I mean, I can't see myself reversing position on this, but it's at least nice to know that if this does come down, that reasonable people can disagree. I mean, when it takes this long, I mean, it sure seems like they're leaning that way, and there's some disagreement in the steward's room. Do you have any? What was your thought going into this race? I mean, obviously you didn't play either of these runners. They made the change.
Oh, there you go.
Laughing Boy goes up.
Wow.
I apologize for Derek for completely mushing you there. Hopefully you'll forgive me, but that makes this pretty much of a non-event from a wagering point of view. Be curious to see on not that it's a good barometer of anything, but I'm curious to see on Racing Twitter if my view is the majority view or the minority view. But obviously I was wrong, and I apologize to anybody I put away there saying that this was not going to change. Meanwhile, I'll tell you what, in other contest slates right now, I mean, this just couldn't be a bigger move with the cap horse, the big over cap horse coming in. For folks who don't know, handicapping contests in the typical $2 win place format, you wouldn't get all of the 54-1 there. You'd be capped at typically speaking, you're capped at what on horse tourneys? Do they do a 20 or a 25 to 1? But still,
Yep.
you still get added value from a 54 to 1 as opposed to a 20 to 1. Some people say, oh, it's no value because I'm only getting 20 instead of 54. That's not really true, because within the ecosystem of those kind of contests, the most valuable points are the ones no one else has. So you actually do, in my opinion, get extra value if you were smart / crazy enough, like you, Mike, to have come up with that case for Laughing Boy. And, no good deed goes unpunished. If you were home on a normal Saturday focusing on the races, you probably got something going with that horse. And now, because you're stuck here with me and you got nothing. So apologies to everybody. I'm having a lot of host fails today.
I mean, it was fitting, right? We were going to end up with a drawn out objection on the first race of the live stream. I mean, that
hey, it worked out great with so many minutes between races. I was sure it was going to run over into the next race. That would be, I mean, gosh, that's the thing we have to think about, right? What if that happens in the second to last race?
Yeah.
You might almost always want to leave enough time for a prolonged objection between the second to last race and the last race. But I don't know. I mean,
I think we have that in this case. There's a bit of a buffer there, which is good.
Yeah, that's good to know. Not that we'll have any more DQs today, but anyway, we'll see.
We're looking at 6 minutes to post over at Oaklawn.
Let's pull that graphic up and look at this Oaklawn race. We're being cheeky here. We're not going to show the video of Oaklawn because we don't have the rights to that, and we don't. Maybe someone disagrees. Oaklawn is not usually in contest, but since this is all for charity and no actual money is taking place, and the timing was so perfect, and it's graded stakes on their big day, we decided to include Oaklawn races in here. Coming up next, we have this Oaklawn Mile, and we can pull up. Mike, if you have the actual odds, that might be a useful thing to reference. Here we have the morning line. I thought Silver Prospector was pretty interesting for Team Asmussen. One of these situations where you've got I love that outermost drawn speed angle. Now I know you got to be careful at Oaklawn, not wanting to be too wide into that first turn, but there is the opportunity, I think, for Keith Asmussen to sort of see what's going on here and either decide to go to the lead or settle off if anybody on the inside wants to go on a mission. I'd be looking long and hard at Silver Prospector in this spot. Did you have an opinion in here, Mike?
That's where I ended up as well. Silver Prospector is, I was looking at a Logical Myth, scratched here. But Silver Prospector is my top pick in here.
Kirsten, me something else I need to do is get AJ the scratches so we can reflect that in our graphics. That's my bad, but we're figuring it out as we go. We'll see what our contestants decide to do in this spot. But if it was you or me, Mike, it sounds like Silver Prospector would be the number 8 that we would put up there. If folks are watching along and have any comments, want to mention any horses that they're looking at in this race, no competitive disadvantage for you to pop that stuff in there. Uncle Sully chimes in saying happy Derby days in Florida and Arkansas. We appreciate the well wishes from you, Sully, as we get ready to see what happens in the second race of our contest. Seems like a good amount of people watching. Very pleased to have so many folks watching along. I really think this format has potential, not just as something that's going to be really fun to play, but also that's going to be fun to watch, whether or not we decide to do some more post-produced things. I could see there being a bit of a YouTube channel that with almost like a poker show, but I could also see this being like a live stream that we put forward. So we'll just talk through this race, since I don't want to show the video because I know we do not have rights to do that. But what we will do is, once all the plays are in, we should probably wait, because people can theoretically. How have you been doing it, Mike? People can change plays until the horses start to load or midway through the load. How's that been going?
Yeah, so as the horses are entering the gate and the plays are all in, you have up until that point to enter your plays. You can add add your plays for future races ahead of time. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. I think you get a little bit more of an advantage trying to play as close to post time as possible.
Sure,
You know,
just seeing
especially
the prices and just having all that real time info.
especially if you're between horses. You know, you're not sure which one you want to play. You know, you might want to go for the better price, the better value there. Gives you the opportunity to do that.
I think that makes a lot of sense. That probably makes sense to stop the betting as the first horse goes in, right? I think in our rules we said you have until a few horses go in, but
Yeah,
just
about
thinking
half the
about the
field.
future, that ability to have a little bit more time to look at the plays. And again, as long as that closing time is the same for everybody, it's not really a disadvantage. I mean, it would be a total bummer if then your horse broke through the gate or whatever and you can't change it. But I think you just have to consider that luck of the draw if we're trying to come up with a televised format here, production meeting in the middle of the show in true In the Money Media fashion.
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, let's keep one eye on that. Mike, I want to talk to you about your background. Is this your first venture into horse racing professionally, or what is your background with the sport?
I've been in software for almost 20 years now. I have worked on a variety of different types of software products. My introduction to horse racing was about 10 years ago. Where I worked at Derby Jackpot way back, building the iPhone software for them.
Remind
And
folks what that was.
Derby Jackpot was a online platform where you can play the races. Very casual kind of feel to the interface. Yeah, it allowed you to kind of get into horse racing if you weren't too familiar with it to start.
Looked more like a video game or a
Yes,
phone game than a ADW type platform.
correct. Yeah, you didn't get there wasn't really an overwhelming amount of data in front of you. It really tried to kind of make it more of a simplified way to play the races.
Who was the money behind that? Like, was it an industry player or was it somebody from the outside?
There are quite a few investors throughout the duration of that company, or at least when I worked there. And but yeah, it was great. I mean, it really kind of drove my passion for horse racing, and I've stuck around horse racing ever since. And you know, the summers in Saratoga are amazing, and it's it's awesome.
I first learned about you through Marshall Graham. What is your connection to him? How did you get hooked up with Marshall?
Saratoga, being up there and hanging out with everyone. Corey Mullis is a good friend of mine who I worked with, back 10 years ago at Derby, and we've stayed in touch, and it's a great group.
I didn't realize that's where Corey came from as well. I didn't make that. I didn't quite make. I knew you guys were buddies, but I didn't make that connection. Corey, very shrewd mind, very interested in the claiming game, and really does the work and all that stuff. Are you involved on the ownership side as well with those guys?
Not actively, but there's always a chance.
Rather bet on them than own them. I think we can all respect that. And where do you live? Give a little bit of your stats to the people as well.
I'm perfectly located in the Hudson Valley, halfway between New York City and Saratoga. May or may not have been an accident.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's almost like you planned it that way. Like those people that live halfway between Santa Anita and Del Mar, it's a good,
That's great.
a good way to go. Excellent. Excellent.
It's amazing when you can shoot straight up to Saratoga with no traffic and get in there, and kind of far enough away from the chaos of the city that it works out really well.
Where do you typically stay when you're up in Saratoga?
Everywhere. It's been kind of just to find every spot you can, move between different locations depending on the weekend. But it's the Adelphi is definitely one of my favorites. The off season. It's
yeah.
Because I love getting up there too, even outside of the season. Saratoga's just a great town.
All right, they're milling around at the start. Let's look ahead a little bit to our future contest races. Actually, let's share. Do we have a screen we can share with that, Mike?
We can share the races. We can share the picks momentarily.
Oh, everybody's in. Let's do that first. Yeah, I think if they're this close, I can't imagine anybody's going to want to change. We'll have to make a rule about that at some point too. Just thinking ahead. But yeah, promote that, put that up there, and then I'll promote it to the screen. We'll take a look, and then we'll just look. I should have this again. I should have my whole setup with screens and being able to know where we're going to have stuff. Because obviously I want to get to know our contestants a little bit more, but I don't want to be asking them questions with 2 minutes to post when they need to be thinking about their bets, trying to be sensitive to creating content and getting to know the characters, but also, not messing with anybody who's trying to get a bet down.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, there it is. So here we go. We've got so Neil. So the Neil and Sean are not here.
Yes,
Correct?
Yeah, I'll remove them after the next race.
Yeah, we'll get them out of here, which means that we're left with everybody playing minimums, and we've got a Last Samurai. Alex split his 2. Lou split his 2. So we've got Last Samurai and Dennington covered, as well as Nautical Star and Dennington. Derek in there with Last Samurai, and William licking his wounds after the aggressive move in race 1, also trying Dennington. So this will be interesting to see. The 2 entries thing is interesting. I mean, I can see how it works, but I do feel like in so much as the idea of this format is to try to create a hold'em for horse racing, should probably be 1 per entry when this becomes a commercial product. How are you leaning on that question, Mike? You've seen this format more than anybody.
It's an interesting one. This is the first go at a contest with the multiple entries. All of the ones thus far have been strictly single entries. One, and but it's interesting. I think it depends on the contest.
Generally speaking, I like to think of multiple entry strategy similar to multi-race betting, where you ideally you have a horse you love and you play it on both. But if you don't have that luxury, if that's not your opinion, I think what both Alex and Lou are doing makes all the sense in the world. By just splitting the stake and sort of hoping for the best and trying to survive and advance from that point. Is that how you think you'd approach it?
Yeah, and I think some interesting picks in this race for our players here.
We're off, by the way. We've got
Yes.
the 6 and the 8, 2 of the bet horses, Last Samurai and our Silver Prospector out there on the lead. Silver Prospector, this is the kind of trip that I wanted from him, being able to be up there. Hopefully, I mean, one could characterize this as a duel, but I don't know. The horse looks okay to me. He's going all right. Meanwhile, the 4 is a bit pinned in by the 7 down there in 3rd, but he could still absolutely trip out. It looks like there's going to be a seam for him if he's good enough. Silver Prospector taking over the lead now and pumping away on the 6. So Keith Asmussen probably just going to try to hold a little bit for the stretch drive here, but that gray horse is traveling now, being asked a little bit as the 7 makes an attacking move up on the outside as they're turning for home. Silver Prospector definitely now having his hands absolutely full with Frosted Grace. He's going to need to find a little bit more because Frosted Grace just went right by him, and there are no dangers here as we're inside the 8th pole. Frosted Grace is going to get the job done with Silver Prospector back in 2nd place in that race at Oaklawn, which means nothing happens once again in this spot. We're going to have everybody still competing, just losing minimum. So, all 2 in the books and all to play for in this spot. That's something that I'm sure you've seen quite a lot of. You said people tend to be a little bit conservative early on in the contest.
Yeah, the minimums have definitely been a thing early on. I've definitely seen some of these contests going a couple of rounds before someone strikes a price on the board there, and it's all part of the game.
The blinds go up now, 400
Yes.
minimum bet for the next two races. Let's take a look. I think you can easily toggle it there, Mike, to show us the remaining four races that are going to be part of this contest. I think the action is going to start coming a little bit more fast and furious now.
Yes, 12 minutes to post for race 9 at Aqueduct.
All right, with 12 minutes to post, what I'm going to do, Mike, is I'm going to send you back to the green room for a minute. I'm going to bring in some of these other guests and just get a little bit more in terms of their horse player origin stories, and then we'll look to bring you back with about 5 minutes to post, and we'll reset and go over this race a little bit if that works for you.
Awesome.
All right, there you go. So let's start. Alex, is this an okay time? Are you like deep in thought here? Or can I ask you a couple questions?
No, go ahead.
I want to hear about how you got involved in horse racing in the first place.
Well, I was always interested in puzzles, and somewhere I heard that a horse race is the most difficult puzzle to crack, and so I got a book, How to Beat the Track, and it pretty much went over like every aspect you could look at for a horse race, and then I just kind of kept track.
Who was the author of that book, Alex?
I can't remember. It was 15 years ago.
Gotcha.
It wasn't a big book. It wasn't anybody famous, I don't think.
Gotcha. That's so interesting. But it got your mind going and taught you some of the basics, it sounds like.
Right. And then it was years and years of losing, and but I started to see patterns where the book basically went over every angle and kind of mixed it all together. And I could see sometimes, well, this horse won, he was the fastest horse, but because he had no class and because he had finished poorly in the past couple of races, the formula that they used really watered down his angle, which was his speed.
Right.
So I started kind of looking at different tracks and different 6 furlongs on the main track or a mile on the turf, and seeing which angles were producing winners, and then just concentrate on those instead of looking at every angle and mixing it all together.
I like that idea. That's smart. Every race has sort of its own individual pattern. One size does not fit all when it comes, certain kind of race, you're going to want to look at one thing, another kind, you're going to want to look at something else. Do you have a particular, would you describe yourself as any type of handicapper though? More speed, more pace, more class, or is it really sort of the same type of deal? It just depends on the given race.
Well, I throw out class in almost every situation. Going long on the turf, I only look at class.
Yeah.
And when I started playing the tournaments, more trying to find big long shots, I found that class and form is the two things that everybody's mostly looking at. And so if I throw that out, I'm more likely to find a horse that's being overlooked, a horse that maybe, 6 months ago ran a great race and has been running in different situations since, and looks like his form is fading off, but maybe he's just finally getting back to where he wants to be, back going long on the turf or something like that.
Yeah.
And so throwing out form is number one. So I don't care what a horse has done in his last couple of races. I care how's the best he's run at this particular distance over the past, say, year. And then a lot of times I'll look at the trainer angles and try and see, like, why is this horse going to run his best race today? Like maybe there's a trainer that's, huge, like over 30% second off the layoff. And this horse, so that would tell me that he's going to run the best he can on that particular day. And it's been pretty good in finding big long shots.
And you've managed to have some success in contest play. You were saying you've qualified for a lot of the bigger events that you've made your goals.
Yeah, I've been to the NHC 3 times, and that's my favorite one because when you get there, it's the same. It's the same as the qualifying. You know, it's $2 mythical win in place. There's no gambling involved.
Right.
The reason why I got involved in tournaments is I heard you maybe 6 years ago on Steve Bick's show saying, if you're good at picking horses but terrible at betting them, you want to do tournaments. So that's when I started. And but unfortunately, when you qualify online for, say, to go up to Saratoga or to go to Belmont, once you get there, the tournament up there is real cash, and you're back to betting horses. So the NHC is really the one that I try to aim for.
What are you thinking of this contest format so far?
I like it because it's only win, and it's not really my money. So the
Right.
pressure of actually betting real money is off, which I find also puts me at a huge disadvantage if I'm at a big cash tournament and most of the people there don't care if they come home with nothing and they're all in, you know, and I'm trying to say, well, if I go home with $600, I'm doing all right. So I'm at a huge disadvantage.
Well, that's part of the reason. That was part of the motivating factor behind this tournament. Look, love the BCBC. Think it's a great goal for a lot of people. But definitely, if you have to think of that money like real money, you're taking a knife to a gunfight, really. And what I like about this is, again, you're going to hear me talk a lot when we talk about this format about poker. But this is like poker, where you could have somebody, we could have some big national championship in this format, and you could get to the final table, and Matt Miller or Marshall Graham could get to the final table, and you compete toe to toe with them because
Right.
it's like the World Series of Poker. We want to have those. One thing that I think makes it exciting is that ability to have the Sammy Farha, moneymaker moment where the guy who is a serious player but isn't a professional. They're doing this for their living, betting large amounts every day, be able to stand toe to toe with somebody who is that kind of player. So you've really hit on something. So you're kind of the target audience. So I'm glad you decided to play, and wish you good luck here, my friend. I'm going to let you finalize. I don't know if your bet's in yet or whatever, but I don't want to take too much of your time. And we'll do this with everybody before the live stream is over, so we get a chance to meet them a little bit more. But I think that selective approach is very, very smart. Alex, I'm going to send you back to the green room, and we're going to bring Mike back here for a minute. We'll wait until they get right to the gate, and then we'll share some picks again, waiting for that elusive first person to hit in this tournament, but all to play for here with 4 races left, and excited to see what happens. Still feeling a little guilty about completely mushing that DQ situation. I've watched racing in New York enough to know that when, I should almost do the Costanza and figure the stewards are going to do the opposite of whatever I would do.
Yeah, it seems like that was a consensus for quite a few people.
Oh, did you look at Twitter? Were more people thinking of it like me, or more people thought it was justified?
I think it's hotly debated.
Okay, well, there you go.
There's good opinions on both sides.
It could be, well, reasonable people can disagree. I mean, and I'm, I'm not somebody who's like, I mean, it's just not my personality. But I think in horse racing and just in life, it's not healthy to be like, if you don't agree with me, you're an idiot. Like, I want to understand the other side of things that I don't agree with, because that's how you learn and grow and change, and it ultimately makes you a better player. So I'm not, devastated by it or anything. It could also be that a lot of people on my side of that argument are talking through their pockets as well, because you are dealing with a 2-to-1 shot instead of a 54-to-1 shot. AJ, Let's take a look at this next race at Aqueduct. It's our last race at Aqueduct for the day. This was one where I was, or do we have two screens here? I think we might have two screens for this one because there are more than 9 runners.
Yeah, we've got
But
4,
maybe
5,
they just.
9 are scratched.
Oh, who's out?
4, 5, and 9 have scratched.
Okay, take out the 4, 5, and 9, and then there are some runners in here on the outside who are actually the two that I liked. I was very much torn between Magical Ways and Looking at Roses. Ultimately, I think I'd let the board help me decide between those two runners. And what are we looking at here? Magical Ways 7-2, Looking at Roses 4-1. I think I like Magical Ways enough more than Looking at Roses. That's probably the way I would go at that 7-2. Mike, who did you like in here?
Yeah, I think the 8's going to be a little tough, but I also was looking at Magical Ways.
Okay.
Coming back off last race very quickly, which is kind of one of the hesitations I had. But it's I think it's still a sound pick.
Are we ready, do you think, to show the place?
Let's see.
Is everybody in? They're milling about back there.
Yep, I think so.
All right, let me know when it's good to promote that to the main screen, and we'll take a look and see what people came up with here in this nightcap at Aqueduct. There it is. Okay, we have the updated. We still have one player.
Still one.
In.
Yep, still one to remove.
Okay, so Sean is not actually here, but we've got Alex and Lou once again splitting. I think this is a race where if I had two, I would split. Alex, interesting long shot with the one Magnolia Midnight owned by our friends at SOK Racing. I think does have a sneaky chance to maybe try to be the best speed from down there at the inside. Everybody just playing the minimums once again, covered numbers 1, 2. We got actually 2 votes on the one with William Miller looking to get back in there with that one. And then Looking at Roses, we do have Derek playing Our Magical Ways. Boss Making Boss Moves is Alex's other one. And Lou's second pick, in addition to Looking at Roses, is Night Effect. Maybe we'll throw this one to the. Actually, it's not quite time. They're still milling about. Back there. So we'll wait just another minute before the horses go in, and we can show this race, and we'll go to the Chris Griffin call as well. I'm going to run and take a quick little bathroom break. Actually, AJ, if you want to go to this one a minute early, we'll let it go to the call, and we'll be right back after the race.
Outside runner. Is now in. See the assistant starter right there at the front of the gate. Now in. All set. And they're off. Good break for Margin of Air. Right out to the front, it's Margin of Air, and at the rail, here comes Magnolia Midnight. Magnolia Midnight will assert and takes the lead. Margin of Air is right there. Same can be said for Night Effect. These three across the racetrack here as they get set to hook up with the backstretch. Then Storming Chrome is now in the 4th spot really strung out here early. Looking at Roses is now tracking from 5th, and to the inside is Boss, making Boss moves. Splitting Rivals is Tetsu, making it 4 across the racetrack there with Centavo, and Centavo wants to move forward. It's going to be mid-pack. The 2 at the back, that's Magical Ways with Kaz, Sugarbank. 22 and 4 for that posted opening quarter mile for Magnolia Midnight. It's Magnolia Midnight who's up by 3/4 of a length. Margin of error is in the 2 path, 3 wide. That's Night Effect. This leading trio approaches a half mile left to go, and they are 5 lengths clear from the rest. Storming Chrome is trying to rally on from 4th. Boss making Boss moves is down towards the inside of Centavo. Also making a move is Magical Ways.
Magnolia,
Romero
find a
Mirage,
lady.
they're on the move. They're circling Rivals, but still far back from the leading 3. 45.30 for that half mile time. Magnolia Midnight is there. Margin of error continues to chase up on the outside as Night Effect. The rest of them got to pick it up as Magnolia Midnight continues to now hold off these Rivals and sprints for home. Magnolia Midnight is in front by a length. Trying one more time is Margin of error. And now Margin of error gets closer, and our Margin of error asserts. It's Michael Sanchez. Margin of error with a furlong left to go. Magnolia Midnight is second. Late rally here from Night Effect with Magical Ways. Margin of error will give Jamie Ness and Michael Sanchez a double on the afternoon. They close things out for the winter and head into spring. Margin of error is your winner. Magnolia Midnight then came Night Effect and Magical Waves in 1 minute 35.55 seconds.
So concludes the Aqueduct winter meet there. Granted, it won't be very long before the spring one begins. Margin of error got that beautiful toe into the race. Big run from Magnolia Midnight, but ultimately the favorite, or I'm guessing close to the favorite, if not the favorite, just had too much for the rest of them. Let's go back to those plays for a second and take a look. Once again, we have 3 races. We have no hits yet. That happens, but now I'm getting nervous. I'm just gonna next race. That one I was I wasn't quite sure what to root for. Now I'm gonna just root for anybody to hit anything at this point. You know what I'd also love to do, and we should do after each of these races, Mike, is show the overall leaderboard. Will that be updated to the minute since nobody hit here, or do you have to wait for it to be official to show the current active leaderboard?
Once it's official, it'll take into account the wagers from this race, so the bankrolls in this case would end up being deducted.
Gotcha. 3 more races to go. We've got the 13th from Gulfstream. That is in that's going to be real soon, isn't it?
Yes, we have Gulfstream coming up.
Yeah. How many minutes to post is that?
Let me get that feed up. Sorry.
I think
1
it's
minute
pretty
to post.
Okay, 1 minute to post there. So we won't bring anybody in. We will wait until AJ. We could probably just pull that up on the screen right now, and then
it's 1 minute. So it's Gulfstream. They're still kind of
more. It'll be a couple more. I don't want to bother.
They're not loading yet.
Yeah, exactly. We'll the next thing we'll do is show the plays for this race. We'll do the leaderboard update after this one, because after this race we'll have time to take a deep breath before Oaklawn race 10 at 6:12, and then we'll have should have a good chunk of time after Oaklawn 10. We close up with the Florida Derby, scheduled post time of 6:42. So yeah, we'll wait a little bit longer to show these plays, in case I still see, I'm spying on everybody, and I'm seeing Alex and Derek, and they look like they're still busy putting picks in. So I don't want to, obviously we won't reveal anything quite yet, but let's just talk about this race for a second. I think we still have time, AJ, to pull the graphic up that you made for this 13th race at Gulfstream. If you want to pop that up on the screen. This was one where we do have a scratch in the form of the number 7, Lucky Score, being out. Mike, who did you like in here, this 1 mile turf stake?
This was a torn between Never Surprised, Big Everest. I like Big Everest in here. I think that's where I was kind of more leaning. Never Surprised, going on optional claiming, a little bit of a layoff. But the 4 was one I kept going back to.
Gonna get a great trip, right? I mean, Rosario, I generally do prefer him when he's either on the lead or coming from way back. But I think this horse just has the right type of characteristics where he's going to end up in a beautiful stalking place just off the speed. And we've seen him run very, very well from that position before. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think Big Everest is very interesting in this spot. Never surprised an obvious alternative.
He's run off layoffs in the past as well, and it's he's done well. So I think the layoff is less concerning here for me.
That's a club Clement definitely has in his bag for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I think we should probably go to show the picks. What do you think?
Yes, we can do that
as they go on to the turf course. Yeah, let's do that. That's right. I have to
make sure
those. Maybe I'll wait one more minute. This is going to drag a little bit, it looks like. So I'm going to wait one more minute because I can't read the body language. Derek looks like he might still be putting a play in. So I'm going to wait until he gets that done. You got a minute, Derek. They're not even at the gate yet, really. They just came on the turf course. So
I do see all the plays in for everyone.
Okay, great. Let's just wait a minute. Okay, he put his phone down. He's good. It's kind of fun. I've never done this with the green room before in StreamYard. It's kind of fun to be able to see the people. All right, let's pull those plays up then, and we'll see what we ended up with. All right, well, this is good. We have a lot of coverage, so I'm feeling good about getting on the board. Everybody played a minimum, as you can see. Alex and Lou split once again. They have one of the same horses in Quality G. Lou also going with Never Surprised. Alex's second pick being Saratoga Flash. Derek went with Smokin' Tea, who's very logical. We didn't talk about him pre-race. I don't know why. I've never been like a huge Smokin' Tea guy, but boy, very talented and cool horse who absolutely goes with a chance. And Bill with Big Everest. We row in together once again. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. And yeah, I think we can take this. Let's look back at where they are on the track. If there's a minute, maybe we can promote the current leaderboard to the screen. Yeah, I think we have time. I think we have time to do that. If you want to toggle the screen, there it is. So yeah, we're seeing. We've got the five-way tie. We've got the five-way tie for the first spots. Bill lagging back, having made that bold move, but this can all and will all change in a hurry as soon as we get somebody hitting something, which is bound to happen. I think right in this race feels like we have the key contenders all covered, along with some interesting long shots. AJ, let's go ahead and put up the race footage, and we'll just we'll talk a little bit more, and then we'll send it to the call when they actually end up going off. Chance to spec the leaderboard once again. Really, those four horses making up the market: 3, 4, 5, and 9, and we've got plenty of them covered. So we're going to see what happens, how this shakes out here in just a minute on this turf course at Gulfstream. Florida Derby Day, Arkansas Derby Day. Going to have some big shakeups in our Derby top 10 list. We're going to surely be having another video. I think Forever Young's going to be in that top 10. I think we'll see. I mean, I'm assuming somebody who's in the top 10 now is going to underperform later. And I think there's a logic to popping that horse in there. I haven't done like a thorough time analysis or anything, but that was not a bad performance at all this morning from Forever Young. But we are now off in race 13 at Gulfstream. Let's go to the call.
Went after Big Everest for the lead. These two race on. Away in third, Ice Chocolat, whose garden situated early for Paco. Away in fourth, it's Title Forces, followed fifth by a ducking over Smokin' Tea. He got over nicely as well. Churchtown is next, 2 in front of Saratoga Flash with Quality G. Second last is Skyro. The early trailer is County Final. And the run around the first turn, it's Big Everest on top for jockey Joel Rosario. They're a length and a quarter, Never Surprised second, Ice Chocolat third. Title Forces is there fourth, Smokin' Tea at the rail fifth. Covered up and racing now into sixth is Churchtown, a length in front of Saratoga Flash, then Quality G. At the back are Skyro and County Final. They make their way to the half-mile part of the contest. Big Everest has been in front from the outset and still leads by half a length over Never Surprised in second. The half was 47-1. Out in the clear goes Title Forces, locked in toward the rail, Ice Chocolat. Smokin' Tea's had a sweet trip, but now needs to find some place to get out. From the outside, it's Churchtown, another 2 back to Saratoga Flash. Then comes Quality G. Out the back, County Final and Skyro as they make their way now to the top of the stretch. They stack and pack up front. From the 4 wide side, Churchtown, 3 wide, Title Forces, 2-path, Never Surprised, crying for racetrack, both Ice Chocolate and Smokin' Tea. Up the wood at Saratoga Flash. Who do you like here? Ice Chocolate didn't get through. Quality G storming home on the stand side. Smokin' Tea still trying to muscle into the clear. Here it comes late. Smokin' Tea launching. Smokin' Tea got up. I think Smokin' Tea might have got up over Saratoga Flash, who was right alongside in 133-1.
Yeah, it was Smokin' Tea. I think Pete called it correctly. We even got a nice who do you like here? Some hard luck stories in that one, Mike. Boy, lots of horses in with chances late in the end. Yeah, I thought Quality G was going to win for a second there with that bold outside move, but in the end, we finally get on the board here. Let's wait till they post some numbers, and it looks like nothing funky is going to happen. I didn't see anything inquiry-able, but it was a little bit tricky with that big scrum of horses there. So I don't want to mush another winner. So we'll hold off before we go back to the plays and bring somebody in here. But yeah, what a scrum at the end. Ice Chocolate among the hard luck stories, I think, here. And let's see what happens right at the wire. Yeah, that's Smokin' Tea, isn't it?
Looks like it.
So we'll wait and we'll
had enough there at the end.
Derek says, "Don't jinx me." I deserve that. I deserve that. Let's see what happens. It's the end of the red line where you need to be, and so with that in mind, let's see what we'll just wait. We'll just wait. I've done this did this to the man once already, so we're gonna be understanding. But I mean, thrilling stretch run there. We've got 2 races left. We've got one from Arkansas, and then we're going to close things out with the big one, the Florida Derby. We were talking a little bit about Kentucky Derby prospects before this race. Mike, do you have a horse yet? Do you have any future action going on the Derby? Do you have anybody that you're interested in thus far?
No future pool bets for me at this point. I'm still kind of up in the air. I think it's been an interesting Derby season. I'm sure, like everyone, I can't wait to see what Pearson's is going to do today. Not really sure which one we'll get, but it'll be. I think that'll be a great race. You get the Arkansas Derby too tonight, which is also looking like it'll be an interesting race. It's really hard not to like Timberlake there. It's been interesting.
We did a show with Clay Sanders of 10 Strike for the plus side this morning. He made a very intriguing case for liberal arts in there to maybe upset the apple cart. I was thinking of maybe playing him with the 3 logicals and seeing. AJ, go ahead and put that Gulfstream feed back up, please. I just want to wait and see. There we go. Smokin' Tea at 9-2 gets the job done just over Saratoga Flash in that spot. Johnny V and Shug McGahee for that stable getting the job done. Let's go back to the plays real quick. Is that what these are? Yeah, there we go. So Derek. And Derek did bet more than the minimum too. So that's certainly significant. Derek, I'm going to bring you back on for a minute here if you're prepared. I apologize for jinxing you before, and I'm sorry I almost double jinxed you. But in the end, again, it's not official yet, I suppose, but I think we're clear here. What do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he lost that photo, I was going to ask Mike to put you in the bathroom because this is too much at this point. But no, it looked like he got it, so I was pretty confident.
What was your angle on him, and why did you choose to bet the amount that you bet there?
Well, I figured out I actually shouldn't have bet that amount because then I couldn't have bet in the next race. So that's why I was on my phone trying to change it to the minimum. But for some reason it said I couldn't, so I had to roll with it. It was one of my stronger picks, but at that point, if I had a choice, I would have either went the minimum or all because I would have ended up with 400 and not been able to bet. So it was actually a terrible bet.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that. That is really funny. Well, there we go. We have some QA feedback there from. Is it because we were looking and we had already promoted we were getting ready to show the picks? Is that why it couldn't be changed, Mike? Do you think?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all right. So that's something we got to remember. We got to remember that for future. We're learning as we go here. But sorry everybody else, a happy accident for Derek, and we'll just have to we'll live with the results, and we'll have a new leaderboard here in just a minute, and we've got a little bit of time. We've got
5
because
minutes to
Gulfstream's
post.
next race. Actually, wait. Oaklawn's next race. How much time do we have before that one?
5 minutes to post.
5 minutes to post. So I want to
This
ask
one
you some
just went
questions,
official.
Derek, but I'm going to let you. I'm going to send you back to the green room so you can focus, and we'll bring you back soon. All right, good stuff. Yeah, it's funny. Well, this will get a lot smoother as time goes on. Oaklawn typically run to time. So let's go ahead and AJ look at the graphic and talk through this race at Oaklawn that will be coming up in a matter of minutes. There it is. We see the list of horses there. Daddy's Ruby, the favorite, 5-2. We're going to have everything updating momentarily here. Lilu 3-1, also in the betting. Zeitlos 7-2. As far as those morning line prices go, we'll take a quick look now at at how the actual market is betting. Zeitlos, the favorite, at 9-5, with Daddy's Ruby in behind at 5-2. I imagine they're going to get represented pretty well in this spot. Mike, who did you like in this race?
Zylos looks good. I think he's gonna be tough to beat. I think it'll be interesting to see what Daddy's Ruby does here. If he gets kind of up in the early pace there, up in the lead. If he can tire out Zylos, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I thought she looked like she could be loose in this spot. That was my thought on Daddy's Ruby, but it's not like Zylos
girl as well.
Yeah, Zylos isn't going to be too far back, so we'll have to see how it plays out. Hoosier Philly, a familiar name in this one, but boy, tough to support, having gone just kind of woefully off form, but catching a little bit of money here in this spot as well. Wouldn't be shocked if we see that. We do have a couple of changes here to highlight. The 1 and the 3 are both scratched, so those two will not be competing. Same deal here. We will talk our way through this matron stakes since we don't have the Oaklawn rights and we don't want to run afoul of anybody. So we'll just talk through this one and see if we can we can figure it out. Maybe we'll wait. We'll do it when the first horse. Don't do anything with the plays yet. Let's do it when the first horse goes in the gate. We'll pull this back, and then for future broadcasts, and hopefully there's going to be future broadcasts based on the viewer enthusiasm we're seeing here. We'll make the rules a little bit clearer as far as all that stuff goes. Do we have? Okay, we do have a leaderboard, and yeah, folks have their work cut out for them because Derek has now a commanding lead. 3,760. So that's going to play into what Alex and Lou have to do. Bill is basically busted. So we will bring Bill in next to talk about the experience and get to know him a little bit better. He doesn't have to worry. Actually, let's just bring him in now because we have a minute. And I just want to learn a little bit more, Bill, about your story. First, let's talk contest strategy. Anything to second guess, or just a day when the opinions weren't there to get you where you needed to be?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be tough, not being win place, just being win. Had a second there with the number 1 horse in one of those races. So yeah, I knew it was going to be tough. I thought maybe I could get 1 out of the first 4, and that's why I went heavy on that first race.
No, it makes sense. And yeah, I think when we designed the format, the simplicity of the win only was why we wanted it. But I do understand feeling a little bit frustrated when you make a good pick on a horse. I mean, granted, horse ended up taking a ton of money. I think it was that Magnolia horse.
Yes.
for the SOK team that you backed, who ended up taking a ton of money, but still, it'd be nice to at least continue to play, but not the way it goes. Let me hear a little bit about your horse player origin story. How long you been betting on these things?
Okay, a little less than 5 years. It was the summer where COVID really kicked in and all the other sports got canceled.
Yeah.
So I was over my father's house. We'd have Sunday dinner every week, and we started watching Saratoga. So of course I'm listening to JK and Andy Serling talk about the pick six. So I immediately started jumping into the pick six.
Oh, wild.
Trying to hit it with $12, $25 tickets. And obviously that didn't happen, but I started getting close. So I shifted my focus to pick fives, a little bigger bankroll, and had a little more success. I actually made to the NHC for the first time this year, and that was on hitting a pick five at Belmont at Horseshoe Indianapolis. So that's how I got in. So I didn't get in through the traditional $2 win place mythical bets. So
that's very cool. Yeah, that was a cool contest. We're hoping to work with you. You remind me, I got to give them a call. We're supposed to work with Horseshoe, hopefully again this year. So that's great that you were able to win your way in. How was your experience out there? I mean, it's such a crazy, fun horse player party.
Yeah, it was fun. I met a few new friends. I'd been out there the last 2 years trying to get in through the first chance, last chance. I actually won my entry at least one of those years, and yes, I had a little bit of a feel for what the experience was going to be like. But yeah, this is the first time doing it for the full 3-4 days.
As a suggestion, if Hawthorne is somewhere you could get to, that's another place where you can play pick fives in a contest. And the other cool thing about Hawthorne is not unlike Texas racing and the Sam Houston contest that we've been promoting that's coming up next weekend. All the prizes are added, so there's no entry fee. Just by statute, they can't they can't charge. So in the Hawthorne contest, yeah, you can just play the pick five. That could be your take your whole bankroll and do that, and it'd be a great way to win in to the NHC if you can get yourself there. But of course, everywhere flies to Chicago, so it's not too bad.
I do the Hawthorne contest regularly.
Oh, perfect. You already know what I'm talking about.
I was a nose away from getting the cross country pick five and having that $1 million bonus going into NHC. Fell short by a nose. So yeah, that's definitely my style contest. Anything where anything goes, open bankroll, that's my style.
So I think the COVID story is really interesting. All right, we're in the gate here. Let's look at plays. Bill, you're free to go. Stick around if you want. We'll try to pull you back in a little bit later. Let's take a look at these plays real quick if we can, Mike. I think you have to toggle it since it's the other screen up there for you.
Yep.
We'll send Bill back to the green room for a minute. All right, look at this. Fascinating. Daddy's Ruby, by far the pick in this spot. Lou going double-barreled on that one. And Alex, the only dissenting pick with a little Hoosier Philly. So we know we need to focus on the 8 and the 10 here as they're off. And the 8 did not get a loose lead, but is traveling comfortable up there on the outside, ears moving back and forth, sort of waiting for instructions from the rider. That tells me that she is not she's not all in or anything. She's moving rather comfortably there. And also just looking at the jockey hands, it looks like the 8 to me is probably traveling much more comfortably than the 4 at this stage. It was a very fast looking first quarter. 21:49 was what the clock said, but now he's pushing along on the 8, but had the double handful there into the turn. So if she responds, we'll see what happens. There is a big long shot making a menacing looking move here. The 9 runner. We'll see if the 8 Daddy's Ruby can find a little bit and put her back. But this looks like it's going to be awful tough. 8 not finding enough in the closing strides, and the 9 is going to get a big upset win there at Oaklawn. I'm surprised Daddy's Ruby couldn't win from there. That was maybe a little bit disappointing, but perhaps those early exertions just told a little bit too much on Daddy's Ruby, and it's basically very good news for Derek, that result. because everybody's taken a step backwards, and he's got that commanding lead. So now he's got to be furiously doing some math and trying to figure out what he needs to do to protect himself in this last race. I would imagine, from Derek's point of view, Mike, this one's going to be a little bit more about playing defense than playing offense.
Absolutely. I mean, that going back to this last race here for a second. I mean, the 8 and the 4 here, just up at the front. That was really my concern with Daddy's review, is that getting caught up with Mucho Macho Girl was gonna, it was gonna open it up for someone to close it in at the end there. And I thought Xylos would have been the one to do it. Just didn't seem like there was anything left there to give. And
nobody
really
found
left it
anything from in behind. And it was
Yeah.
one of those things where, I think the clock, we'll see when we get pace figures back, but I think it's going to end up being obvious looking at pace figures that she just went too fast. But that's where your eyes can put you away. I mean, to me, visually, I thought she was traveling great and going to be able to find no problem. I'm glad I didn't say as much, because I've jinxed enough people today. But when the question was asked, I mean, hey, it's not like she stopped. She tried, but no match for the ultimate winner. A big boil over. Anything looking back at the PPs there, Mike? Anything you can see on that winner that might have pointed around to us before the race?
I didn't. Let me pull it up real quick. I didn't have anything in my notes, surprisingly, on the 9 here.
American Band, is that the name of the beast?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking. 1-2 in a row, claimer and allowance race, but I mean, these are not figures that, in theory, were supposed to be competitive with the likes of the fastest ones of these. So yeah, a bit of a boil over there at Oaklawn Park in the 10th race, but certainly a horse that was in form and got the right kind of trip under De La Cruz. Let's see who we can bother. Now, if I bring you in and you're busy doing preparation for the last race and you want a mulligan, let me know. Derek, I can see you're working too hard at this point. We talked to Alex. Lou appears to have gone for a soda or something. So actually, we'll wait, and maybe we'll do an early setup on this Florida Derby, because we do have some time. So AJ, if you want to pull in the Florida Derby graphics, we can. We talked about this race a little bit before. What did we ended up with a couple of scratches in here. Let me read those through for folks following along. Bayless out, 3 is out, and the 8 Seminole Chief is out. I really think that this is one that I feel like the 3 horses in the betting are the 3 horses you need to worry about. And let's check out the betting. Interesting here. I would say, actually, let me look. That's not updated. I want to look at the updated odds. But the last I looked, I'd almost call Fierceness a little bit cold on the board. Is that fair to say at 6-5? I feel like, look, I get it. I mean, the last race was bad, like really bad, in my opinion. But I still sort of thought, based on the way this horse has been working, etc., that you were going to see odds on. A little surprised to see that horse odds against. Conquest Warrior catching plenty of money at 5-2. Hades 5-2. I can't shake the idea, Mike, that Hades is a last time was the time horse. We'll see how that plays out. Who do you like in here?
I mean, I would agree with that here. I don't think you can't count them out here. I think certainly proved last time against Fierceness that you can compete, and it's been said numerous times. Which Fierceness are we going to see? Like, is it going to be?
Well, the real Fierceness, please stand up.
Yes.
Do we have an updated leaderboard? I want to double check something here, but does everybody have enough left to make their minimums at this point, Mike?
It does not appear so.
So are we done?
We might be. Just putting in the
let's update this leaderboard and see. We'll keep the live stream going, but we may have a winner, and then we may have to do some figuring to figure out who fills out the other spots. But and I mean, again, nobody has to stick around, but if everybody's willing to stick around to discuss this, but let's make sure, because I'm doing math in my head while doing 3 other things, and I'm not that great at math when it's the only thing I'm thinking about and I'm not drinking. So I want to make sure that I'm right about this.
Yes, I'm pulling that up now.
Oh, but who was your pick in the making you multitask? Who were you going to pick in this race?
I am. It's
Or you're
it's a
still
tough one for
deciding?
me. Yeah, I have struggled with the Florida Derby probably more than any race today.
Interesting.
And
You
I'm
don't think
talking.
it's straightforward? I mean, I thought it was pretty straightforward. Fiercest returns to form and wins, or I think it's Conquest Warrior. I mean, I really like Conquest Warrior based on how much I feel like every race I have notes that make it pretty clear that he's better than the bare form suggests. You know, how easy he won last time, the way he dealt with adversity second time. He had one of those debuts where it looked like he was almost figuring it out halfway through the race. Like I like everything about the horse. I mean, I get it. He's not quote unquote fast enough, but he just feels like the right kind of horse to make a bet on the come. You know, I'd rather 3s than 5-2. But I mean, this is a horse who early in the week when I wrote my piece over at theraces.com and he was 4-1, I was extremely comfortable saying, go ahead and take that.
Yeah, I definitely took a good look at Conquest Warrior, and yeah, I honestly would not be surprised to see Conquest Warrior take it here. I mean, like you said, especially if we don't see the all-star, standout performance from Fierceness like everybody's been waiting for. It really does leave it open.
All right, so let's get these scores updated. We'll see, and then we got to figure out. I think I'm glad we made those tiebreaker rules because I think they may be coming into play.
Yes, I think so. Let me see which the leaderboard should be. Nope, it's not the screen that's being shown. Let's see.
You let me know, and I'll promote it to the screen.
Okay, I think the leaderboard is the screen that's up there.
There it is. There it is. Derek has won. I mean, hey, it was a deserved victory. Derek started off the day hard done with that DQ, and then stuck to the plan and came up with that big winner. Congratulations, Derek. We're partners on a horse together.
Thank you. No, I'm excited about it. That's great.
Now, Mike, I'm going to leave it to you. I put those tiebreaker rules in, and I think it's basically just going to go back to, I can't remember if we had leaderboard ties, though, in the previous race. So I'm going to leave that to you while I chat with some of the team here to try to figure out who wins the other share in Skytown, this very promising Echo Town horse. Did I send you the picture, AJ? Do you have a picture of Skytown that we can show? Don't worry if I can't remember if I sent it to you. There he is. I mean, this is a fast-looking horse. Look at that engine. A lot going on behind the saddle. This seems like a horse we're going to be able to have some action with. Has that cool blaze. Lovely looking bay horse, but just looks like a runner and looks precocious. So I think we're going to have a ton of fun, Derek, with this one.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. The horse looks good, so that's good to see.
Excellent. And we'll have another partner on this call too. We just got to wait and figure that out. Meanwhile, Derek, I'm going to let you bask in the glory of victory for another minute. We didn't get to talk to everybody on the show today, so I'm going to let you go back to the green room, and I'm going to bring in. Is Lou there? Lou, can I bring you on for a minute?
Sure.
I just wanted to talk to you, Lou, a little bit more about your sort of horse player journey. How long have you been into racing?
Well, I followed the Derby for a long time. My dad was big into horse racing, introduced me to the track. We got to take him to the Derby in 2016 to see Nyquist win. So I was all about Nysos or Knightsbridge. It would have been great to go back this year and see a horse sired by Nyquist win.
Yeah.
I guess Encino still has a chance, so we'll see. But yeah, it was all because of Dad. And then I probably, since it was after that I started getting a little more into playing. That year, I think my dad and I we were trying to win that $10,000 bet, I think, for the Breeders' Cup, and we were just outside the top 10, but we took a shot to try to get to the top. So, but yeah, it's just I've been playing a little bit more contest since more or less since that point. Contest betting a little more.
Well, I wouldn't give up on one of those Nysos babies to do something in the Triple Crown series, if not in the Derby. I mean, Knightsbridge, very impressive the other day. Obviously, going to end up short on Derby points, but I would book plans to the Preakness if I were you.
Yeah, I will be there. So we'll see what happens.
I know you've been very involved with supporting Thoroughbred Aftercare, and you're like a real fan of the sport in general. What's your sort of favorite aspect of the game in terms of gambling? Or are you more of a tournament player, more of a cash player? What kind of pools do you like to participate in?
I'm a little bit more of a cash player. For a while, I was really big into the multis, but I think they're just more challenging than not. Become a little bit more of a doubles and exacta player, and then I'd say even trying to play less frequently, but trying to find things I really like, and then trying to go after them harder than I used to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an extremely good idea. What's your favorite live racing meet?
My favorite live racing what?
Meet. What's your favorite? Breeders' Cup, Saratoga.
Ooh.
What's your favorite?
Easily the Breeders' Cup. I think you get to see the best horses. The people that are there for the races. It's not like just for a big party. I mean, overall, I've met people from all over the world at the Breeders' Cup. So for me, hands down, it's definitely the Breeders' Cup.
Excellent. Well, good stuff, Lou. Appreciate you coming on. I know you had to jump through some hoops given your chosen profession to make this happen. We appreciate that you did. Good stuff. We're going to get this leaderboard finalized in a minute and see who exactly ends up where, but hopefully we'll get a chance to hang out soon in any case.
Sounds good. Actually, I got to reach out to you because I got some things I want to run by you.
Let's do it. You know where to find me. Good stuff, Lou. Thank you so much. Excellent. All right. Any progress, Mike, on the final leaderboard situation here in terms of second, third, fourth, fifth? Still working on it.
Yeah, still working on it.
Still working on it. Keep working. Let me bring Derek back. One thing we know for sure, Derek has won with a bankroll of 3,160. What did you think? I mean, I'd be surprised if you say you didn't like it, given the success you had, Derek. But what did you think overall of the format of this game? Is it objectively, is it something you'd want to participate in again?
Yeah, no, definitely. I like the format. I prefer win over win place. So because I think to me, I want, I always look to win. So I don't want to lose because someone picked a horse to come in second.
Yep.
So I'm just happy my good luck charm Taylor helped me out. So.
We got to show that bigger. There we go. We can see her. We can see her there. It's good to have her. I'm just hoping we don't get some sort of copyright claim from YouTube for having for having Taylor's visit. No joke. On the way out, we listened to the entire 1989 record. Perrin was DJing on the car ride out, so it's very appropriate to see her. She could tell you from the haircut which photo shoot that was from. She's gone down the rabbit hole. I'm just trying to. I'm going to need to hit a few more pick sixes if we're going to actually afford tickets to the Eras Tour. We will be in London when she is there come June. I'm going to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat to make that one happen. That's that may be outside my scope of bankroll, but very funny stuff. Give us a little bit more about your sort of horse playing journey.
Sure. I've been playing horses since I was little. Grew up 20 minutes from Saratoga, so going there all my life. Kind of, went more into sports betting over, until COVID hit and sports betting shut down also. And so I picked up again and met some friends online kind of, and we all, have kind of worked out different ways and in WhatsApp groups and things like that we've kind of, joined in betting pick fives and things like that.
I think that's so smart. One thing, I have the great pleasure of being the editor and publisher of this upcoming book from BCBC champion Matt Miller and it's largely about the betting side of the equation. We're calling it A Better Way of Thinking, spelled, Bettor. And he makes the point about just the level of difficulty with pick fives, and has an attitude of, really wanting to be able to increase players' strike rates. And, when you chase, I mean, I get it. We've talked about it a lot on the show, like the temptation of playing pick fives, pick sixes, these high risk, high reward bets. And depending on your gambling personality and your bankroll, that's absolutely fine. But the idea you're mentioning, Derek, of being able to share some of that risk in those pools with people, I mean, it can make it so much more sense. Maybe you can bet a 2-to-1 shot and have be in profit on the day and still be able to pursue some of the biggest scores the game has to offer by betting with friends. How did you hook up with your horse playing friends? Are they people you've known for a long time? People you met?
No, it started Facebook and then kind of worked in like one of the handicapping things we use. They did a WhatsApp group, and now we all kind of, we go through, one of the sites has a share thing. Sometimes we go outside of them, but I don't really like to do that because, you just never know. So
I don't mind you giving the plug. What's the product?
The handicapping.
Yeah, the handicapping product you use, unless you don't want to plug it, which case you don't.
No, I mean, I go between two things, mainly between the charting horses, and I use the group is an Equine Edge group.
I was going to guess, Scotty was early years, Scotty was a sponsor, and, had so many great times talking to him and being on some of those streams and having a lot of fun. It is cool. It puts sort of computer player type tools in the hands of retail and not just retail, but like serious horse players, but people who don't know how to model and have all that stuff. It's a chance to compete on a little bit more of a level playing field. And I'd never defer to it completely, but I love it as one piece in the arsenal. Tell us about your pick for the Florida Derby. Now that nobody can catch you, Eric.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously I think if Fierceness runs like Fierceness can, it's not even close. But I was actually going to bet, and I already bet with my own money the 6 horse. So, which was a little bit of a shot. So I got to go back in. I got to see because I haven't been out was the 6 or the 4.
The 6 is La Dame Bro, the other speed horse.
Yes.
4 is that Grand Mo, the first, 6. Who was third in the Tampa Derby. La Dame Bro, yeah, I mean 30-1. There's no equity in this. I don't fully get it, but there's no equity in this life trying to tell people why their 30-1 shot is a long shot.
Well, maybe the 10's not going to push. If the 6 goes, the 10 might sit behind.
Yeah, sometimes
and at that point,
happens.
You never
know. Like if a horse, that's an interesting way to look at pace too. A lot of times people will just look at what everybody's supposed to do and figure it from there. But sometimes, especially when you're looking at a long shot possibility, you're absolutely right. If the 10 doesn't go, the 6 might just be loose, and then who the hell knows? So. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. Who would I assume in the contest you would not have played that horse though? Who if you were if you had people pursuing you still, would you?
Well, if they were allowed to bet, the 400, I was going to go with the 1 because it was the next out of the 3. They couldn't have hurt me, so the 4 was the next, or the 1 was the next logical choice. So it was between the 1 and the 4, the ones that could have caught me, so to speak.
That's an interesting idea. Mike, have you seen that play out in these contests? We talk so much in mythical money tournaments about the idea of having the protection of the chalk. Had this played out where the other players had kept minimums, there'd be no reason to play Fierceness because nobody could catch him with Fierceness anyway.
Yep.
Like, have you seen that dynamic play out in any of the other beta runs?
It's really interesting. We've had every contest, we've had it going down to the last race.
First time for everything.
Yeah, always. Especially live, right? Like, why wouldn't it be that way? But yeah, it's been either an opinion on 2 horses, 2 players going at it, and kind of who bets the bigger amount, who goes big and who goes home. But there was one contest where it came down to 2 players who actually bet the same horse, and it just came down to one bet was larger than the other, and that's how it ended up.
Let's bring in Lou has a tax appointment, so we're going to let him go. Let's bring in Alex. Alex, who would you have played here, and who just in real life is your pick for the Florida Derby?
My pick would be the 9, but I would play the 4 and the 7 on just based on a trainer angle. Hope for a long shot.
Can you share? Are you comfortable sharing more on the trainer angle for the 4 or the 7?
Well, Sappy Joseph's, I think 26% second off the layoff, which is pretty good.
Sure.
And and Barbosa's got some really, really high percentages also. So
maybe taking a swing with some of the local guys. Bill, we're going to bring you back in. You're on mute. I don't know if I did that or you did it. You know what you're doing. What about you, Bill? Who's your pick for this race?
Conquest Warrior, number 9. That's what I would have won.
Throwing in with me. I like it. What do we think? What's happening with the prices here? Has the money come for Fierceness? Not really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I just feel like that's super cold on the board for that horse. And board wise, 2-1. I mean, 2-1's getting to be almost in too short to actually make the cash bet, Bill, on Conquest Warrior. Even though I've doing all these shows and things, I try not to ever give out I hate nothing more than writing an article where I pick a horse and then getting off the horse for the price. Because even though that's absolutely what you have to do if you're a professional bettor, as a pundit, somebody who's more of a pundit who bets for fun, like I feel like it makes me sound so wishy-washy. But would you still take the 2s on Conquest?
For a win bet, no. But I would have had all my bets in early for the pick 5. So
gotcha.
That's really what I focus on.
And I'm sure he's more than 2-1 in the pick 5. I mean, it's a tricky thing. Do you, Mike, as a numbers-oriented guy, do you? And I know, obviously in Marshall's circle, and Marshall's so big with the imputed odds and price discovery and things like that. Do you use any of your programming skills as far as trying to aid you in figuring out which pools to bet, which horses, etc., or are you more focused on the handicapping side of things than all that econometric type analysis?
I've done a bit with some of the computer modeling stuff in terms of from the handicapping perspective, more than the wagering. It wasn't taking in public odds at the end there. It was purely focused on handicapping components. I would say most of what I've been doing lately, though, was just a lot of studying. I try to play races where I have an opinion and I could back it up with my notes and who I like, and that's really been kind of my way of playing as of late.
Do you think we're going to be able to figure out in real time our rest of finish order? Or is this something we're going to actually have a conversation about and figure out? What's your what's your gut having looked at them? It's supposed to be you're supposed to basically go to the previous leaderboard, but then if that was also a tie, we're supposed to go back to the contest from last week.
I do have the previous leaderboard up now.
Okay,
there doesn't appear to be any ties in that leaderboard. I can't pull it up. I have it on 2 different computers.
Okay, we can't. But you want to just read it to me?
See. Yes, we have. Lou had the top of the leaderboard in the last contest, with Alexander in second. Lou had his second entry in third. Sean had his entry in fourth. Alexander's second entry was in fifth. Bill had his entry in sixth.
All right, so Sean is out. So that Sean didn't turn up for the live stream.
So you've got Lou, yep. Alex, and Bill in that order.
All right. So
Lou,
I mean,
Lou, Alex, Bill.
Do me a favor, and if you can just create something we can share on the screen with the sort of final order, so we can assign the prizes. I'll make sure everybody gets what they got, and obviously I'll communicate with the crew offline about this as well. But it is 1 minute at Gulfstream, which probably means it's still 3.5 minutes before this break. So, Mike, if you wouldn't mind creating something in like a Google Doc that just with the order of those finishers, that would be super helpful, just so we can share that and provide some live stream closure, which I would love to do. One thing is not in doubt, and that is that Derek gets the job done with that tight photo with Smoke and Tea. That may have been some karmic justice for the earlier for the earlier DQ. Put your pocket aside. I mean, you much more than me, Derek, seemed to think that was going to be an okay DQ. It seemed like you were almost expecting that, and you were not. I don't think you were reverse mushing yourself. It seemed like you really thought that could have been a DQ right from the jump.
No, I didn't think it was a DQ, but only because it was at a NYRA track, and NYRA never DQs anyone. I mean, I've seen people almost fall off the horse and they don't DQ. So that was very shocking to me. So I was trying to be like, hey, hold on. I knew there was going to be an objection. I didn't think it would go through. If you asked me live, I probably would have said, well, look, there's a chance, just because I didn't want to jinx myself. But
right.
Yeah.
Alex called it. Alex was very bold when I was saying it was crazy. He said it was going to happen, and he was right. So you get the plaudits. Get the plaudits for that one. What contest wise? What's coming up next for you guys? I'll start with you, Alex. Do you have another? Or are you going to be participating in Santa Anita Derby next weekend, or are you looking to play in some qualifiers for anything over at Horse Tourneys? What's the story?
I'm going to try and get down to the Keeneland, the Grade 1 Gamble in a couple weeks. I met a couple of friends out at the NHC the last couple of years, and one of them is Erin Doty McQuaid. She lives down by the in Lexington, so
awesome.
I'm hoping to get down there. She works with New Vocations down there. It's another
they do great work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew Anna Ford from years ago, who I think either started or high up in New Vocations, and they do a great job. That their aftercare focus is on like rehoming, finding new careers, as the name suggests, for horses. So that's a great organization, and that's very, very cool. Derek, how about you? What's next contest wise?
I mean, I haven't ever been into the NHC, so I've been trying. I usually just do the smaller qualifiers and try to come out, but I'm really pushing to go to the Pick Your Prize at Monmouth is my goal.
I was going to say, we talked already about Hawthorne and the amazing contest events they have for NHC. Sam Houston, another one, very favorable terms for the players, but probably the single best of the year in terms of the amount of seats and the ability to, double and a little more your bankroll. Come to Pick Your Prize. I'll be there. Make sure to look me up if you come. But Monmouth have been important in the money clients since day one, and I love that contest. So that's a really good one to focus on.
Good, yeah.
Bill, how about you? What's next for you, contest wise?
Well, I've got a retirement party in Mexico sometime in April, so I'm thinking on the way back I might try to swing through Dallas and hit the Lone Star qualifier.
Oh, fun! Same deal there. Those are all added to the pool too. That's a Texas law thing. So that's a very good idea.
And if that doesn't work out, or even if it does work out, I'll probably be at Hawthorne in June.
Great. Yeah, excellent opportunities all. Mike, let's talk a little bit more about Contest Jockey. We've had a lot of people join us just in the last few minutes. This is a new type of contest, and folks can, if you create a free account, then you'll be able to get all the information about what's happening. Tell folks where they have to go and what they have to do.
Right. So if you go to contestjockey.com, you can create a free account there. You'll be added to the email list. You'll get notified the next time that there's contests available. And like I said, we hope to expand it out in the near future.
AJ, let's send it to Pete to bring us home with this year's Florida Derby.
It's broke.
We can give him the call. I think we're muted for the call, AJ, if you want to throw that up on there.
Fierceness. He's on the accelerator early as Johnny V. He's up and around horses, and he wants to lead. So Fierceness will land the front in the run to the opening quarter. In between horses, Ladombro out 3 wide as Catalytic, and Grandmo the first is at the rail. They're followed by Real Macho, who races outside of Hades. Hades is about 3.5 lengths off the speed, ahead of Iris's Dream. Covered up between horses is Conquest Warrior, and the early trailer is Frankie's Empire. The opening quarter just 24 seconds flat. Fierceness on his A game so far. He's a length in front over Catalytic, a wide second. In between horses, Ladambro, Grandmo, the first is at the rail. Real Macho works out in the center, racing in front of Hades. Then Iris's Dream and Conquest Warrior still at the back, but in the clear is Frankie's Empire. They're with the half in 47-2. They have the favorite to catch. It's Fierceness to the far turn on top by a length and a half. Working harder is Catalytic, at the rail, Grandmo the first. Ladambro has to quicken, but he's not. At the rail, it's Conquest Warrior trying to launch his bid. Frankie's Empire is wide on the course, but Johnny V is still sitting pretty on Fierceness, who tries to sneak away. Three quarters, 111-1. They run to the 5/16, and Fierceness, he is getting away. He's now 4 in front. Catalytic is second. Grandmo the first is third. On the outside, Frankie's Empire, Conquest Warrior at the rail, but they all have too much to do. Fierceness is putting on a show in Hallandale today. Fierceness, the real Fierceness, has showed up to South Florida, and he's crushing them in the Florida Derby. Fierceness geared down and on his way to Louisville. Fierceness authoritatively in the Florida Derby. He never had a threat. Catalytic was second. It's a very close photo for third between Grandmo the first and
Derby
Conquest
favorite.
Warrior.
We have seen the Derby favorite. There's a new number one on the In the Money Media top 10 list, folks. That was unbelievable. I mean, that looked like the old horse, right? I mean, that looked like the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And, you know, one thing that comes to mind, I know it wasn't fast, but I do think the way there was no mucking about this time, the way there was last time. And, you know, I know he got jostled a bit, but like just the fact, he just seems like a much better horse when he just goes on with it, as opposed to, you know, waiting on horses and stuff. I mean, that was awesome. Anybody have any doubts about who the Derby favorite is now?
Not me.
All right, guys. Congrats again. Oh, actually, before we get out of here, Mike, were you able to pull that idea together? Can I flash something up on screen with the names?
I did create a spreadsheet. It just shows Derek in the lead, and then I just went through each of the entries in the previous list, and that's what we have for.
Well, that's great. Now, well, look at that, Alex. You got double duty there with being able to. You'll be a partner with me and Derek on the horse and the whole Adelphi Racing team, and then you'll also get you've got my seats one day at Saratoga. Let's coordinate and make sure that I'm there that day so we can enjoy those. And Bill ends up in the money there too. So a great job, guys.
I think Lou should be second, probably.
Yes.
Yeah, Lou has another entry in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's not quite. Well, thank you for bearing with us here.
And,
well, Alex, you said you wanted days at Saratoga. Now you got two of them.
No, you got to stick Lou in there again, right?
Yep. Yeah, he's got to have another entry.
Give him a minute. He's going to get it. Don't worry.
Test run. Yeah. It's a test run.
I think we got it. Right?
Out all the kinks. You will get a day at Saratoga. We will get to hang out for that. Lou will be our partner in the horse. Lou will also get my seats at Saratoga one day. Guys, really appreciate the effort coming on and doing this. We're going to definitely do it again at some point, and really appreciate you guys being part of this maiden voyage. Thank you for bearing with us for some of the host jinxing and other maiden voyage type things, but it's all very appreciative of you, of our partners at Adelphi Racing Club. This is something that if you are interested in horse ownership, you definitely want to check out and get involved in. You've heard Matt on our airwaves many, many times. Other thank yous. Mike, unbelievable job pulling this website together essentially for this project. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this one down the line. Contestjockey.com. Sign up for a free account today. Keep posted on all the information. Producer AJ, unbelievable work as ever. Couldn't do it without you. Really appreciate you and all you bring to the In the Money media team. One more time, thanks to our friends at Adelphi who made this whole thing happen. Check out the Adelphi Racing website. And if you're interested in horse ownership, these are great folks to be involved with. This show's been a production of In the Money Media. I'm Peter Thomas Fornatal. May you win all your photos.